Ilium scored 6 touchdowns in 14 games. Find the ratio of touchdowns per game. What are we going to do? Okay, you can do the fraction of 6 over 14. You can say 6 to 14. You can write it in any of the 3 ways. But can we do anything with 6 and 14? Remember, these are still fractions. You still have to reduce if possible. So can we do anything with 6 over 14?
Yes.
Yes.
3 over 7.
You can divide them both by 2. They are still fractions. They still have to be reduced if possible. So it's going to reduce down to 3 over 7. So you still have to make sure you simplify these. If they can't be reduced, that's fine. You leave it. So if it's 2 and 3, 2 and 3 don't have anything in common. But 6 and 14 do. So you still have to make sure you reduce. Okay, so any questions? You just got to be able to read it and make sure that you can set it up. Okay, you should be able to solve this one. This is another one straight out of the book. So if I gave you 2 over 5 equals x over 40, we've already gone over this. So if I gave you this, since this was one of the first things I went over earlier, after I gave you the 2 terms, what are we going to do? We're going to cross multiply, because we've got our 2 ratios, we've got it set up equal to each other, so we've got our actual proportion here. So we're going to cross multiply. Remember I said start with x. So if we multiply 1 and 5, we're going to end up with 5x equal to what? 80. And yes, I should see this, not just simply an answer. So we divide by 5. So then 80 divided by 5 is going to leave me with what? 16. So x should equal 16. So simple problems like this you should be able to handle. Okay, what if I bring in the add and the subtract?
Hold on. I'm confused. Where we get 2 over 5 from?
That's the problem.
That's the problem I gave you. That had absolutely nothing to do with the touchdown. That's a completely different problem. We solved it. We got 3 over 7.
Okay.
It was done. Yeah, it was done. That's why I drew a line. This is a completely different problem. You with us now? Okay. Now I'm drawing a different one. We're moving on. You good? Okay. So now let's do x plus 1 over 3 equal to 7 over 2. So x plus 1 over 3 equals 7 over 2. Now how do we solve something that's got a plus and a minus? It's not as simple as I just cross multiply and I write down my answers. How do I do this if it's got the plus and the minus? I still have to cross multiply.
Multiply on both sides.
I'm still multiplying these 2.
You just multiply first, then add your x, right?
What do I multiply the 2 with? Do I multiply it with just the x? Do I multiply it with the 1? What do I multiply it with? Both. Please make sure you multiply it with both. You got to do 2 with both of these. If you don't do it with both of these, you've already messed your problem up. Huh? It's basically like a distributive property. Is what it comes out to be. It's 2 times both both of these, or 2 times everything inside of parentheses, is the way it is. So 2 times x becomes 2x, and 2 times 1 is 2, and now go in the other direction. So it's going to equal 21. So what you end up with then is you end up with a 2-step problem. So you have to make sure that you multiply it with both pieces. If you don't multiply it with both pieces, you are going to be in trouble. It's not the closest one to the 2. It's not just the x. I've heard them all. You got to make sure you do it with both. So now solve it. So subtract 2. So now we have 2x equals 19. So when we divide by 2, if they don't tell you, then I don't necessarily know how they want these. I mean, a lot of times I've said leave them as fractions. Sometimes I've said round them. And I don't know exactly what they want. So let me double check. They're saying leave them as decimal. So we're going to do decimals rounded to the 10th place. So if I do 19 divided by 2, I'm going to get what?
9.5.
I'm going to get 9.5. Okay, so any questions with the add or the subtract? Okay, I'm going to let you try one. Now remember, this add and subtract can move as well. So this time you've got 15 over 3 equals x minus 3 over 5. So try this one. You got 15 over 3 equals x minus 3 over 5. So you got your own add and subtract. Make sure you show your work. Make sure you have multiplied it with both pieces on top. There's no reason to be closing the lights on. Seeing all the same answers, so we either all have it right or we all have it wrong. I don't know which one. So let's see what we got. So, if I cross multiply, I did 3 with both of these, so that gave me what? 3x minus 9. So when I went the other way, I got 75. So now, solve it. So now I add 9. So 75 plus 9 is going to give me 84. So now if you divide by 3, what was 84 divided by 3?
28.
28. So everybody's good. Okay, so any other questions, any problem? Okay. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put this up here, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and at least work on the first one or two, and let you get some of these out of the way. And that'll be left. Now I don't know if I'm giving you this whole page. There's 15 on here. I may not give you all 15. I may cut it off. But at least you should be able to work on the first one or two. I'll go ahead and take a picture and post it to Google while I'm at it. So if you're sitting here, you should hopefully be able to read it. Yes,
You should have it. Okay.
you're not missing much. The end of that's grams of fat.
If you, can you put a bigger number on top of the phone number?
Yes, you can.
Does it come out like it's the same answer as it would be wrong?
It will be the same. I mean, your job is to do whatever you gotta do. So it says you're doing the ratio of saturated to the total. So that means your saturated is gonna be on top, and your total is gonna be on the bottom. So they're telling you what order to put it in. So if your saturated is on top, what is that? Your saturated is 6. And then your total is gonna be 9. So they're telling you what order to put them in. So then all you gotta do is look to see if it can be reduced or if you're gonna leave it. Okay, so I'm posting it to Google right now, so it will be there for you. Now, if it ever comes through. Okay, I'll put on here that I want you to do through 11. So you should be able to finish 1 through 11. I'll cut off those last couple of problems.
I have a question.
So it has already been assigned and posted to Google. So you should be fine.